from Esports, trying to find an angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a hole. White gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who is going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
A beast mode has killed 3. Only gonna really need that rampage, so gonna clear it out. Santi gonna get themselves a big old 4K. Santi getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Saga4 is hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's gonna stick under Linky. You're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. Blue manages to find a 3K.
Rio shoving this Lana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio.
That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3 Melophobia. Starting the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Beagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy. Popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The 4th one as well. Do they get the aim? They get the aim. All right, good evening, everybody. Week 8 wrapping up here in CGL. Final time of the season to really get a good showing for both these two teams. Both these two teams going in this game, I believe, have locked in playoff spots. But for one, it might mean a little bit more here. It's Fellowship Esports taking on Low Ground Maine. My name is Dextron. That is 2 Tryhard Ray. Ray, man, how are you doing here tonight?
Feeling absolutely fantastic. We got 2 great teams, as you mentioned, locked in for the playoffs. One team who's had an impressive, and I'm not trying to slight the other, but man, they have 1 loss is Low Ground Maine, and they've only dropped, what you said, 5 maps on the entire season.
5
so
maps.
They have done absolutely insane this season. And talking about Fellowship Esports, you know, in the 8th seed, no matter what, yeah, it looks like I don't think they can be caught. So they're either going to be 7th or 8th at this point. So they got to be feeling pretty good. You know, you talked about the story of them just being like an after-school program.
I believe that's the case with them. I believe it is. I don't want to necessarily say it is exactly, but I remember playing them week 1 with our team, Shoes Production Crew, and it was a really fun game. And they seemed like a really fun team to watch.
Yeah, that it definitely does. The one thing we can talk about though is these 2 teams have played each other previously. It was quite a long time ago, you know, a couple months ago, back in week number 2, and Low Ground Maine was able to take the victory in a 3-0 fashion. So we'll have to see what Fellowship has learned. A lot of things have changed since then. They've obviously gotten better. So how will the series develop and change from how it was in week 2?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe all the way back in week 2. That was the last week without perks or hero bans, I believe. So, I mean, a lot of stuff has changed gameplay-wise, but, I mean, you look at the map pool coming up here. Going to be starting off on Busan, going to Blizzard World and Runasapi. Those are our 3 guaranteed maps here tonight. Sarabasa and Watchpoint Gibraltar are waiting in the wings if we go anything past map 3. I mean, I really like this map pool here. It's a diverse one. You can play a lot of different stuff on all 3 of these maps that we will see.
I'm just curious to see how this will go. I love Blizzard World. It's a map I actually wasn't very fond of, but just the more I've casted it and the more I've played with it over time, it's really grown on me and has a special place. I just love the variability and comps you can see on a map like that. And Runasapi is always a fun push map because it's the only push map in my opinion where if you get off to a huge lead, you know, 100-0, the other team still has a chance to come back. The other ones don't ever feel like that. Runasapi does. As now we move over to the ban phase, as Fellowship Esports will be banning first.
I mean, this gives them a lot of options here. Normally, you see these first bans go after support or a tank here. I mean, I always just like to say when you see a ban first, you're normally looking at something like a Juno. And hey, speak of the devil, and it is going to be the Martian.
I mean, it's a little surprising considering I feel like Juno's kind of gotten like the nerf ban like so many times. That doesn't feel like they're that hardcore meta. But no surprises there. Support and also could just be a protect ban as well. Like if they feel like they're good at the Ana or something like that. So they're making sure that another support cannot be banned. As low ground main will now be banning. How will they respond? Do they look to take? Maybe they played this. Obviously, they played each other before, so maybe they know someone on the other team who has like a pocket pick who you want to ban.
Well, it's gonna be Roadhog coming out here first. An interesting ban. But just looking at Fellowship Esports team sheet, doesn't necessarily say anything about them playing Hog, but I mean it might be something where they've gone somewhere that maybe Fellowship Esports has been trying out Roadhog here lately.
I don't know. Maybe it's just Logo Main feeling like they can just ban whatever and they're just gonna win. I don't know, but the Hog feels very strange. That would be like on some obscure spot on my bingo board. Not expecting to ever get a bingo in that row. But we've hit it, and we're gonna have to see how this goes for both these teams. We mentioned Busan is our first map, and I guess we've seen some Roadhog, even an Owl at some points on Busan. We had that one crazy point where the Outlaws were running it with Dante on the Sanctuary map.
Yeah, absolutely. But Fellowship Esports lineup right here, 6997 and Gomeni as your DPS line, Wolfie as your tank, and Tempt Me Not and Rambo as your support line here. Again, a very solid lineup here. Again, I'm just going off of how we played against them week one. Anyone on this team can really have a pop-off night if they get the opportunity to.
Yeah, it's going to be quite the task, however, as we now pull up the low ground main roster, as we have Saucer and I don't know how to say
Teriyaki.
Zeta Teriyaki. Thank you. As the supports with high quality on the take and King and Zebra Cookie on their DPS line. I'm very excited to see this team come out and rock it out.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this team on stream a couple
So
times
that's kind,
throughout the
not
season.
King.
Yeah, we've seen the team a couple times throughout the season on stream, whether it be regular season games or back in that mid-season tournament. I mean, this is a team right now that has given the #1 seed in this bracket or tiered Sora Skilled. I mean, the most run for their money this entire season here. Sora Skilled, remember, sitting at 8-0 at the moment. That is before they played their final week, so they could go for a season sweep here and a perfect regular season in that matchup. But going back to this one, I mean, Fellowship Esports, they have to come out strong, in my opinion, to really get a good footing in this series.
As we will be starting out on Mecha Base, map that can be very well known for its brawl-like compositions, but we've also seen, dive with Winston and Divas as well. It can be very variable depending on the meta, as it looks like both teams are looking to play a version of the brawl. Logo Main probably playing the more optimal, more popular version with the Ramatra, while Fellowship Esports, they're looking to go full in on the Rhine, baby. Not always the most optimal, but if you play it really well, it can work out well.
Yeah, and Wolfie did say this is their most played tank, or most played character in the entire game at the moment, so might not necessarily be a surprise to see them coming out here, but I do like this composition here from Fellowship Esports, especially if so many is going to be able to kind of just get set up on the main. Nice ice wall right there would be huge, but they high quality just able to back up far enough there. Fellowship Esports taking some space though, but to be kind, taking out Tempt Me Not to get everything going here, and that's not who you want to lose early. That's your main source of healing already out, and you're just seeing Fellowship Esports fall one by one after it.
Yeah, man, imagine if you could have gotten that May wall up if you're Fellowship Esports, because high quality was extremely low. Having to back up took so much incoming damage from the Torb, from the Reinhardt, from the May. If that wall could have separated them, that could have been a whole different fight.
Now again, they're deciding to come through this choke point right here. Ice Wall gonna go out just to actually get them through the choke point. I actually like that as a play there from Fellowship Esports, but they now need to get something else going here. Already, Wolfie very low on health, has to just fall back for the moment, but they're not gonna be able to survive long enough. Zeta gonna be able to take them out right there. And without that rectangle there for Fellowship Esports, it's gonna be a lot like the first fight here. One after one, they will all fall down.
And again, this is just clinical work from the side of Low Ground Man. They're doing a great job of playing their positioning. One thing you got to be careful of is they did get their Suzu forced early, but they're able to respond and get Wolfie down pretty quickly. So that's just one thing to be worried about is Suzu usage early on in these fights.
No ultimates have really built up yet for either side, but Low Ground Main closest to them, about to have 4 ready to go here. Blade coming out here from Kind, high quality, gonna be able to find Tempt Me Not, and the Blade doing a lot of work. 6-9 will be able to find the first pick, but that's gonna be the only thing that Fellowship Esports gets this engagement. Rambo trying to run away, but they're not gonna be able to escape as Zebra Cookie takes the final 2.
And to be able to win that with just a singular blade, you kind of look at it, you go, oh, he only really got one, but he got so many other players low on his way out that high quality, and the Zebra Cookie were just able to clean up and win the fight. And sometimes it only takes one, folks. 4 ults still online for Low Ground Main. His Fellowship is still building up some of these.
I mean, you have to look at potentially the last one. Conjure's coming out from Zeta to just keep everyone alive. Deadeye from Zebra not going to be able to find anything right there. 2 ultimates out from each side. There's the Annihilation out from high quality as Zebra Cookie looking to try to find anyone they can beat. Not going to be able to keep high quality alive here, though, as 69 going to be able to find one, but they'll be traded right back out. This is kind of playing into Fellowship's hands here. They have the ultimates coming online here late, but Kind now starting to pop off. And the hammer only right now for Zebra Cookie at the moment. Blizzard coming out here from Gomeni, but Zebra Cookie going to be able to find Wolfie right there. Now Fellowship looking for anything they can, but Zebra Cookie again, bang the hammer, going to be able to find the flashbang kill. There, Molten Core coming out from 6-9, but it's not going to be enough there as Low Ground Main takes the first point of the night.
Man, those fan the hammers back to back to back to back to back, absolutely devastating as they're just able to throw down so much damage and find kills so quickly. Nice little, especially with the perks for Cassidy, goes absolutely sicko mode. As again, that felt overall pretty clean for the side of Low Ground. I mean, there was some, you know, obviously for the side of Saucer on Low Ground, they got the beat kind of late and were able to save high quality, but we're still able to get the win nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, you could just kind of see how Low Ground Main, especially Zebra Cookie right there, was feeling themselves. I mean, fan the hammer after fan the hammer. I believe that was 6, maybe 7 fan the hammers in a row right there. And I mean, Fellowship Esports, that was probably their best fight, that entire first point right there. They were finding picks, they weren't able to find the team fight though.
So we see Low Ground Main swapping to a Winston for the, I mean, they're playing the exact opposite high qualities on the Winston. So Gomeni, who's on the Genji right now, gotta be a little bit careful of that Winston electricity. But I think overall the Rhine can withstand a lot of damage from the Winston.
Kind getting very low, but it's going to be high quality coming in to keep them alive here. Sauce going to be able to find the first one, but Gomeni going to be able to trade out Zebra Cookie. Trade's going back and forth right now. A much better start here for Fellowship Esports, but you're down as support on each side at the moment. Tempt Me Not already using that Suzu, going to be able to teleport themselves away, but Sauce are going to be able to get them off the map. Same thing with Gomeni as Kind finds them. This should be the first point cap going over to Low Ground Main yet again. All they have to do is get rid of Wolfie, who's doing a good job of just chunking down high quality, but it won't be enough in the end.
Yeah, and a great Winston bubble coming out from high quality to separate Wolfie, so they couldn't get any heals even in that mode. So now you're in a situation for Fellowship Esports where I have liked to swap over to the Ramatra, able to withstand a lot more, but so far no point captured.
Yeah, like you said, I like the swap as well. The withstand from them, just in being able to put out a little bit more damage consistently is better. Trades going back and forth each way, but this DPS line for Low Ground Main has been on one so far tonight. Again, though, you get rid of Zebra Cookie, you're going to be able to find a trade, and the fight is basically over right there. Gomeni, last one left alive, last one. We see them back in the spawn, but they do find Zeta Teriyaki out.
I mean, with the staggers on both sides, I don't think it's going to matter in the end. I think both teams will be able to get all their players back for the next fight. Low Ground Main coming up on pretty much all 5 of their ultimates. The only one that's lagging behind for Fellowship, who has been matching them ult charge-wise, Rambo's falling behind with the sound barrier significantly.
Something we saw the first map as well. They just weren't able to build it up fast enough. Consumer Rush coming out here from Tempt Me Not, trying to give Fellowship Esports a little bit of a boost here early on. High quality though does have that Primal Rage. They're going to pop it right there. 3 ultimates coming out from Low Ground Main, only leading to 1. Make that 2 kills. And honestly, this is already a team fight done and dusted here. Fellowship Esports going to have to regroup back in the spawn. Now down that Kitsune Rush.
Yeah, but that was a 3-for-1 trade if you're the side of Fellowship Esports. So you'll be able to come into this next fight with basically 4 ults to 2, and you should be able, with the power of those ults, to be able to take back this point.
You don't have beat though, and that's going to probably be your engagement tool here. Blades coming out from both sides with the Consumer Rush out from Logan on main, helping out Kind here a little bit, who's just struggling at the moment. Go Many going to be able to find one, go find two as well there with their Blade. Overclock coming out from 6ix9ine, trying to find what they can here. High quality, going to be able to find Rambo just before they get that beat. But Go Many, the star of this fight here, make it 4 for them and point cap for Fellowship.
And that's exactly what you need. And not only do you win that fight with, and cap the point, but you only had to use 2 of your ultimates. So you didn't have to throw all of them out, and then you're at a disadvantage from here on out. So this next fight, you're going to have your Sound Barrier and your Annihilation when low ground main has nothing in their ult bank right now.
Annihilation out from Wolfie, but you just see him getting chunked down. Go Many picking up right where they left off. Gonna be able to find one right there, but now you're down to your Ramatra, and you really need this DPS line to step up here if you're Fellowship Esports. But Logan on main, it seems like they're just gonna wait for Zebraco to come back, but Teriyaki gonna be able to find Rambo out here early on. Tempt Me Not has to use that teleport just to get out and get back to safety.
Yeah, as the positioning for these players are going to be forced to go back toward their spots. High quality finds Tempt Me Not. This is looking really bad, and a point flip for low ground main is on the horizon.
I mean, you see Wolfie try to get back in time. They just get booped off the point, already investing that Nemesis form out there. Beat coming out now from Rambo, who just got, but you see just completely disappear. Wolfie gonna be taken out by the Deadeye from Zebra Cookie, and this is just a cleanup moment here for low ground main. Go Many doing a good job just trying to stall at this point, but eventually they'll get caught out, and the Tesla Cannon does not care about your deflex. 6ix9ine will be able to find Zebra Cookie out there, but they'll immediately be taken out by Saucer. Now, last one left alive is Tempt Me Not. A good first map here for low ground main. Fellowship Esports, though, they definitely got better as that map went on.
Yeah, very, very impressive first map coming out from low ground main. But as you mentioned, there were some bright spots. I think, they were able to take advantage of situations that low ground main did put themselves in. Like I said, they committed way too many ults to that one fight. So then they came back and they were able to win the fight with an ult advantage. And then they didn't, throw out all of their ults either. So they have some bright spots. But the question is, can they fix enough and capitalize on enough of these bright spots in order to come back in the series? Because overall, very dominating first map for low ground main.
Yeah, I mean, right here, you're seeing the moment of, I believe, 6-7 fan the hammers for Zebra Cookie. It sounded like they were starting to do that towards the end of last map as well, or last point as well. I mean, low ground main, like we kind of said coming into the series here, already locked themselves in as the 2 seed, trying to end off their regular season on a high note. Fellowship Esports, they're safely in the playoffs at the moment, unless something drastic happens, I believe. But, I mean, they just want a strong performance here heading into it. And, I mean, Fellowship Esports, like you said, they kind of capitalize off of maybe the overinvestment of ultimates there from low ground main, able to take that point back. But I mean, just when low ground main came back in after that, they didn't necessarily have enough there to really sustain for a fight. It looked like they might have been able to. Go Many really did pop off, but just wasn't enough to really carry them through that second point.
Yeah, a confidence builder, even in a loss, is what you're hoping for Fellowship. Heading into the playoffs, but the series is not over yet. We do know, second map is a reminder for you guys, we are heading to Blizzard World, and as the preamble to the series, I kind of talked about how this map's been growing on me, just because there's so many varieties of compositions that you can play based on where you are on the map, whether you're attacking, whether you're defending, whether you're first point, second point, third point. So, for example, defending first point, you can play Sigma compositions, and it can work pretty well. But it's not as good on points 2 and 3. Attacking, you can play Winston compositions, Diva compositions. You can brawl it out. You can match the Sigma compositions. Second point tends to be a little bit more favored toward the dive, where you play more Winston Diva. And then third point is where teams will start to whip out some of the brawl strats too. So it's a very intriguing map.
Yeah, definitely the most flexible of the hybrid maps, in my opinion, when it comes to compositions you can play. You can see a different composition come out every point. And, I mean, with perks now being a thing that has been in the game for a while, I mean, you started to see teams only want to make that swap once or only once on each side here. But Fellowship Esports going to have the first ban here again. I mean, I feel like this would be a time you go after something like that Cassidy, where you saw they were doing a lot of damage last map. But no, it's the Kiri instead.
Hey, I mean, their Kiri play was also very good. I mean, I feel both teams' Kiris were pretty good, so a little surprised to see that taken off the board. But I mean, to be fair, on a map like Blizzard World, we're more likely to see on a Brig or on a Zen or, flavors of that, like if you're going to play dive or poke. So that could have just been in my opinion, that could have been a protection, but you're also not likely to see Kiri, so it's a little interesting. But low ground main will get the next ban. The question is, where do they go? Do they ban another tank? Do they look to go damage this time? I mean, I don't think like either of the damage players, not that they were playing bad, but no one stuck out on the side of. But they are going to ban the hazard.
I mean, much like Malga got nerfed into the ground a couple patches ago, haven't really seen the Scottman a lot since then. But now, I mean, I guess you could find some value with him on the first and second points where, like you said, you could play a little bit of poke, a little bit of dive on them. But, I mean, we didn't see him any first map, so this kind of just feels like the same kind of ban of what Hog was, where they were just making a ban to make a ban, essentially.
I guess we'll find out no swaps on either side as we will be loading up into a very wet and rainy Blizzard world.
The rides might not be functioning at the moment, but the action will still go on no matter what here. And, I mean, if you're Fellowship Esports, that second point looked a lot better than the first point there. And you need to bring that momentum here, because even though you lost that map, like we said, you did get better as it went on. You kind of got a little bit of a foothold in the series there. Maybe not what the one you were looking for, but you have to be able to kind of answer it or follow it up here at the start of this round.
As we take a look at Fellowship Esports on this defense, no surprises here. They're going to go with more of a Winston on a Brig-based setup. Gomeni on the Genji to follow up on Wolfie on this Winston. And then they're going to have 6ix9ine play the Ashe, which, you know, another staple on this Blizzard World map. Be able to control high ground. And then not only will they have a Winston and Genji diving people, but you have dynamite follow-up damage as well. So it can be quite explosive if played correctly.
Yeah, and remember, Gomeni was the standout for me last map for Fellowship Esports. If they can get started early with finding a couple picks, it's going to really allow the rest of their team to kind of relax in this map here. But Kind coming out on that Widowmaker, you have to be wary of that. But a couple nice headshots coming out there from 6ix9ine early. Get a force Kind just to fall back. Dynamite coming out will land on the 2 right there. And, I mean, right now, Fellowship, this is a great start for them. Already finding 2 picks in low ground main. They might have to rethink this at the moment, as you see them already falling back.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, you know, I'm also not a big fan of the Juno Ana. It's going to be extremely susceptible to these dive compositions. But, I mean, what can you say when Kind gets an opening pick like that? It just opens the floodgates.
Yeah, that's the problem when you're going up against a Widowmaker. You always have to be watching your angles here, and you get caught off one moment right there, puts your team behind for a long time to come, especially with Wolfie just trying to take some space back there a little bit, get to find themselves falling their Zebra Cookie yet again, dive from high quality on that high ground. They're almost going to get taken out right there. That would have been a huge pick for Fellowship. They're not going to be able to find it. SMG mode coming out there from Kind, not going to be able to find anyone as Zerategaki. You have to be able to find Gomeni, and now you're just starting to see low ground main basically pick up right where they left off last map, fighting kill after kill. It's going to be Zebra Cookie with 3.
And that's going to be the point cap for low ground main. So it wasn't clean at all. Definitely you would not call that a clean one, but they were able to get it done with some grit, Kind finding a good pick, high quality, and Zebra Cookie able to take control of that high ground. And now they're trying to do that once again. And that's going to be the important part of the second point, is for a defense controlling the high ground, and for low ground making sure you take that advantage away.
Wolfie playing a little bit far up at the moment, has to just dive back out there to make sure they get healed back up by Rambo and Teminot, but Teminot gonna fall there as Zebra Cookie again, just kind of in that backline. They're gonna get traded out right there, but Kind finding Gomeni, and again, it's just low ground main, finding kill after kill after kill here, forcing Fellowship Esports just to fall back, and oh, that whip shot might just keep Rambo alive.
Yeah, it's going to keep them alive. They're going to be able to reset, and that's kind of what you needed. Already halfway through point 2, 4.5 minutes left on the clock, and ults are stacking for low ground main. That's going to be 5 ults, while Fellowship only coming up on 3.
They need something here early on, almost getting rid of Kind. The Nano coming out on to high quality. Blade out from Gomeni right here. Needs to be able to find one with it, but they're struggling to find anyone there. Nothing comes from the Blade. The Deadeye though from Zebra Cookie gonna get canceled out, but it doesn't necessarily matter as still everyone else for low ground main is finding those picks. Wolfie making that dive back up there, but it's really 1 against 2, 1 against 4 at the moment. What a flick there by Kind just before they get put to sleep. However, it doesn't necessarily matter as Kind finds them right back out.
Yeah, Orbital Ray's going to do the cleanup job. So, cost you 3, your ulti for low ground main, but you're able to get out the Blade and the Nano for the side of Fellowship Esports. So, 3 for 2, and you cap the second point. You'll take that every single time. Now we move into this third point, and we've talked about on this third point is where we can see teams start to swap it up to the brawl, but we're not going to see that right away.
Nice play out there from both Wolfie and Gomeni, getting Kind out here early on. That gets rid of that Widow pressure there for a moment and allows Fellowship Esports here to play a little bit more aggressively, especially with this Primal Rage ready to go here from Wolfie. They're going to pop it immediately, try to just punch them back towards the rest of their team. Visor and now the Primal Rage coming up from the other side as well. Rambo popping that rally, looking for whatever they can. Bob out here. Fellowship Esports just investing everything at the moment, but oh, Bob is just going to be knocked off the map right there. However, they're doing a good job at slowing down the cart here.
Yeah, they definitely are, but it did cost them 3 of their ultimates as we're already just on the edge of another Nano coming out from Saucer.
I mean, Logan main invested 2 ultimates into that fight there as well. Zebra Cookie still just spamming the hammer here at the moment. Kind gonna be able to find 6-9 out right there. Nano invested onto high quality, and oh, what a huge anti-nade there. It hits 3. Well, those 3 are now back in the spawn. Zebra Cookie gonna take that last one away from high quality, but low ground main, all gas, no brakes here at the moment.
Yeah, they get it within 1 more fight to delivering this payload. They're going to have the high noon, and Zeta Teriyaki should be able to get the orbital ray, as only one is Tempt Me Not is going to have the Nano. That's about it.
6-9 put to sleep right there as Wolfie goes diving into that backline. A huge anti-nade out there from Tempt Me Not, but it's not really going to lead to anything at the moment as high quality finds Gomeni and Tempt Me Not. 6-9 will be able to find Zeta Teriyaki out there, but right now you're still looking for anything else here if you're Fellowship Esports, but the only thing you're finding is your own grave. Deadeye out there from Zebra Cookie trying to get rid of Wolfie, and they're going to be able to right there, juking around. The bubble was not enough to save them.
Yeah, we're going to get a dash onto the point for last second. Kind went up the map, thinking they had it won, and oh, that was a little sketchy there, but they are able to get it in the end. Oh my goodness.
Test coming out here right now. Zebra Cookie again just fanning that hammer, but it's eventually gonna be a point cap here. Almost 3 minutes on the clock here for low ground main. I mean, there were points again that round where Fellowship seemed like they might have been able to get a little bit back, but low ground main just was able to come back in every time and just wipe the floor.
Yeah, third point, they did a nice job of wasting a decent amount of time. So you're not, 3 minutes, still a big timing, but it's not like staggering like, the 4 minutes they could have been looking at. But again, it's just flashes we've seen from them. They just haven't been able to put together more than one flash back to back in order to give themselves, some confidence in the series.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you can see the difference right now. The low ground main, they are feeling themselves. They're playing a little bit free, they're playing a little bit loose, and they're playing, you've seen Zebra Cookie just fan the hammer time after time again when we're watching their point of view. They are they're wanting to get a win here, and they feel like they're going to be able to get a win here easily. Fellowship, they've been able to do, give some resistance, but just hasn't been consistent enough here so far.
As low ground main on the defense, sticking to the Winston with the Ana Juno. They will have Kind go over to the Sombra instead of the Widows. So defensive hacks, whether you go after the back line, whether you go after, you do it to Gomeni as they dive in, or to, Wolfie as they dive in. So going to be a lot of utility from the Sombra.
And Fellowship, they just need to have a good opening fight here just to give them some confidence, some momentum going into this round. But again, Zebra Cookie, you just see him fan the hammer on that high ground. They are kind of sitting out in the open right there, waiting to be punished.
You see the jump to high ground being made from Wolfie. I like that, trying to take that away, and they actually successfully do a decent job.
Nice hack there by Kind, but Kind actually be the first one to fall right there. Translocator not going to be able to get them out. Zebra Cook going to be able to find 6ix9ine there on that high ground. Immediately going to have to vacate though as Wolfie goes diving up there. So kill for a kill on each side right now, but Fellowship still being very cautious. Dive now coming out there from Wolfie on that high ground, but oh, the bubble not coming out soon enough. They get put to sleep, antied up, and there's the rest of low ground main. But they'll be able to survive here for a moment before Zebra Cookie takes them right out. Flashbang coming out for them, but it's going to be Kind finding Rambo as they reintroduce themselves back into this fight.
Yeah, already a minute off the clock as we see Zebra Cookie just behind with them, not even knowing what the follow-up dive from the rest of the team. Again, this has just been clockwork for the side of low ground main, and Kind is going to get 69 in Kind, send them back to spawn room.
I mean, you were able to get rid of Kind early there last fight, or that first engagement, just not able to find them out. I mean, if you're Fellowship, you just need something here. 6ix9ine making the swap, though, to the Soj.
I mean, you're going to have a lot easier one-shot potential with the rail guns, but the Ash is going to have more, output of damage over time. We're going to see the hack not able to come in onto Wolfie.
Kind, though, able to escape with their life, starting to get healed up. Wolfie has to play safe here at the moment, less than 50% health. Hack coming out there onto Gomeni, not going to be able to find the pick just yet right there. Nano, though, onto Wolfie as Fellowship tries to get something going here towards this point. Dive back onto the high ground, not going to be put to sleep this time, as they're actually going to be able to find Zed Teriyaki, but they will be put to sleep and immediately woken up. This is the fight that Fellowship Esports needed here early on, finding 2. Nano, though, invested on the high quality, but you lose Saucer out. Zebra Cookie finding 1. Gomeni will be able to get rid of Zebra Cookie, but now it's all up to high quality. They do have a lot of stuff here that they could sustain with almost a whole health bar and that ultimate if they want to use it, but they're not going to be able to.
We see the hack coming in on a Gomeni now, and Kind's able to find the pick. And yeah, just when you thought there was a, good, huge fight coming to a Fellowship, low ground main's able to find exiting picks.
I mean, they still have numbers. EMP coming out there from Kind will land on the 2 right there. The follow-up is not there just yet, but they're going to be able to survive through it. Rambo popping the rally right there. Needs to get some help themselves at the moment. Deadeye now from Zebra Cookie looking for wherever they can, but they're going to be able to find Wolfie somehow through all of that. And Fellowship, they have a tick and about a minute left to go here and only 2 ultimates.
They're going to be pretty good ultimates, though. The Blade and the Overclock. The only thing that's worrisome is, high quality can pop that primal, especially, on 6ix9ine, and look to just boot them around and not give them a lot of space to work with on this overclock. And then Zed Teriyaki can throw down the orbital ray as well.
And right now, Fellowship, again, the key to a lot of their fight wins so far this series have been first picks, and right now you're already losing Wolfie there, about less than 50% health here. Orbital Ray coming out from Zed Teriyaki right now. That looks like it's going to force a fallback, but no, actually 6ix9ine going to invest their overclock blade coming out as well from Gomeni, and neither of those ultimates are finding the value at the moment, almost getting rid of high quality right there, but they're going to pop that primal raid, find them out. So you invest the 2 ultimates you had. You have 2 more left in your Fellowship, but you have to get back to that point.
Yeah, and they're going to be in a staggered fight. Rambo going to swap over to Lucio to try and get back. Wolfie's going to go over to the Wrecking Ball. I don't know if they have a touch. 3 seconds left.
Oh, Rambo not going to be able to get there in time, but it will be Gomeni who does get there. No ultimates though ready as Wolfie got off the Winston to go to the ball. Teminot might be able to build to a nano here, but it's really not going to mean much in the end. It goes on to 6ix9ine, who will get a touch here, but they're going to immediately be taken out there by high quality. Teminot will find 1, but that's going to be the only thing to say about that fight for Fellowship Esports. Low ground main, dominant second map here as well after a dominant first map, already on to series point.
Yeah. The entire squad is looking absolutely dominant, whether it's Zebra Cookie going on these flanks and then the hammering everyone to death, or high quality, doing a good dive, or Zed Teriyaki on the support. They're playing so well as a unit, and they're showing why they are locked in at the number 2 seed.
Yeah, and like I said, coming into this series here, low ground main might be the only one that can really say something that's sort of skilled here, who is currently sitting 8-0. Haven't played their final game of the regular season just yet, so probably looking at a 9-0 sort of skill. But low ground main, I mean, they are just trying to go into the postseason on a very, very high note here, and I mean, so far they are doing that.
As low ground main, almost a warm-up game for playoffs. Keep in mind we will have an admin week next week before the playoffs officially start, but it'll give any of the teams in the playoffs, including Fellowship Esports, an extra week of practice to get ready for the playoffs, which will be exciting.
Yeah, I mean, playoffs are always exciting here at CGL, but right now, Fellowship Esports, I mean, we can't necessarily say the same thing from map 1 to map 2 here. They got better as map 1 went on map 2. They had their moments there in that first round. They really didn't have those moments there in that second round, their attacking round. So a lot they have to improve here. We're going to throw it to a quick break, but when we come back, we will have our third and potential final map of this series. Everyone, stick around. You are not going to want to miss that.
Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yours. Got lots of love. Love. 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 Got lots of love. Love.
A dominant start here for Low Ground Maine as they sit on series point in our last regular season match up here. Fellowship Esports, they've shown some signs of fight in this series, but they just have not been able to get over the hump just yet here. Ray, I mean, this could be our final map of the series. What does Fellowship Esports have to do here as we head into Runasapi?
Stringing together more of those moments we have seen, where they got the tick, where they got a team fight win on their defense, where they got 40% on the second point of Busan. We're going to see if they can do that on what could be the final map, Runasapi push. As I talked about, this is the one push map where, defeat never feels lost until the full point has been capped. It, for some reason, has just been a push map where teams have been able to easily come back on. And I've seen some crazy comebacks on this map specifically.
Yeah, this map and Esperanza seem to be the two that you see the wildest of comebacks on. But Fellowship Esports going to be getting the first ban here. They've been very favorable of the supports here so far throughout the night. But do they go for maybe something like a tank here this time around, or a DPS, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, you kind of mentioned the possibility of getting Zebra Cookie out the Cassidy last map, so maybe they look to take that advice this time around. I'm not exactly sure, but because it feels like, oh, yeah, looks like they are going to go Cass.
And I think that's a smart play by them here. Just getting Zebra Cookie off that cast, forcing them to play something else. I mean, it might not make much of a difference because we don't know what Zebra Cookie's hero pool is, but I feel like just getting them off the hero they've been just kind of dominating on throughout the entire series is just a good move here.
Couldn't agree with you more. And the question is, I mean, Logan Man has had some interesting bans thus far. Do we see another tank ban, or now that support is available to ban, do they look to go in that direction?
I mean, their entire MO so far has been banning tanks that you just wouldn't expect to see anyway. So I would go after maybe something like, oh, well, no, they're going after the Kiri instead. So Kiri banned last map by Fellowship, could be banned this map by Low Ground.
Kiri has no fun in this series. Only map number 1 do they get to have their fun. As again, I think, you know, with Kiri being banned, I think that's going to spell more, you know, whether you go Winston or Ramatra, it's likely you're going to go more of like a Brig Ana or like a Juno Lucio if you go Ramatra. You have adaptations you can make, but I think those are the two main compositions. Is you'll either get Ramatra or like a Junker Queen if you play Brawl, and then if you're going to play Dive, you either play Winston or Diva. But I think, you know, Winston and Ramatra are the more favorable versions of those comps currently.
Yeah, absolutely. We will have one sub, our first sub of the series coming in this map. Fellowship going to be swapping out Tempt Me Not on that support line. Mr. Manhead going to be coming in for them here as we head into what could be our final map of this series here. I mean, Low-Ground Main, it's been a really strong showing for them here. They're the only couple times they've lost team fights is because they maybe overinvested ultimates early in the team fight or overinvested ultimates in the previous team fight where Fellowship Esports was able to come back in with ultimates of their own and just kind of win the fight off after that.
As it all comes down to this final map for the side of Fellowship Esports, likely they're still locked into playoffs no matter what, but you know, if they do lose this, they will be locked into the 8th seed, so they're going to have to play
Sort of skilled.
Yeah, sort of skilled, which not going to be a good time. Good thing it's a double elimination bracket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and right now heading into Runasapi, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of competition we see from both teams here. I mean, they've both been pretty flexible throughout the night, really haven't played the same thing just yet. We did see the Winston mirror a little bit last map, but I feel like we could be seeing a lot of what we saw map 1 between these two teams again.
I think that's always a possibility on a map like Runasapi. And we know High Quality did like that Ramatra. I would love to see, we haven't seen the Ramatra versus the Ramatra, because we saw the Ramatra going up against the Rhine on the first map of Busan, and then it was Ramatra versus Winston on the second map of Mecha Base. So now we go in and we see Fellowship looking to play that Ramatra. No surprise. The Lucio BAP is a little concerning to me. I'm not a big fan of that with the Ramatra composition. Is Low Ground Main is going full stop Wrecking Ball with Sombra Thera.
I mean, a lot of burst damage potential coming out from Low Ground Main here. Fellowship, I mean, they do have some survivability there early on, but you have to invest a lot of your abilities early if you want to try to do that. But right now, though, it needs to be 6ix9ine trying to focus in on Kind in the sky, but Zebra cooking in very low here, going to just barely be able to keep themselves alive, using that translocator to get themselves out of danger. There's a pile drive out from High Quality, but Wolfie Rambo looking a little bit worse for wear at the moment. And like I said, a lot of burst damage potential coming out. Kind of going to be able to find the first two before they get shot down by 6ix9ine right there. However, Low Ground Main has the numbers advantage here, and you see them winning out this team fight because of it.
And again, it's nice to see the flexibility out of low ground. Man, I think this is going to be one thing, not only are they showing, but they're going to need for the playoffs is being able to adapt and change based on what they're going to see and being able to take down sort of skilled. We're going to need to see this kind of flexibility.
And right now, I mean, look at low ground main. They're kind of just casually pushing the card, already halfway to the first checkpoint at the moment. Wolfie very low, has to pop that Nemesis form just to keep them alive here at the moment. Kind falling back yet again, but it's going to be Zeta Teriyaki who finds the first pick there on to 6-9. That allows Kind to kind of play a little bit more freely, knowing there's no one on the other side besides probably Mr. Manhead that can really focus on them. Zebra Cookie takes out Wolfie right there, and already the forward spawns here, a minute and a half into the map.
Man, 62 meters and counting. I talked about how this map feels like it's never over. I feel like you got to start getting a stranglehold on this cart at least and start getting some distance in your favor, because you lose this next fight and you're looking at like almost a point complete at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with ultimates coming up, EMP already out there from Zebra Cookie. You do lose one. Actually, Fellowship Esports winning out this fight here very early on. That backline for low ground main only down to Saucer here at the moment. And hey, you just lost Kind. Fellowship Esports going to be able to take control of the bot here with their first team fight win. The only person left alive, High Quality, who's just going to be able to roll themselves away.
This is what I needed to see from Fellowship, is stringing together a fight and getting control of this cart. The problem is they're going to have to do this again to finally start getting some distance in their favor. 4 ults online for low ground main. They already found 6-9.
That is a punishing combo right there. You get slept and then pile drive followed up by a rocket right there. Kind popping the barrage here. Gets the nano to boot. Finding 2 right there. High Quality will take the last one. And now low ground main back in control.
Yeah, they're going to be facing a sound barrier, an amp matrix, and a overclock from the side of Fellowship Esports. But Saucer should have the sound barrier, and High Quality can look to separate or alienate targets with these minefield.
Let's take care of it.
Coming out there on the Saucer. Minefield's coming out, like you said, trying to separate. Actually gonna do a really good job of that. Go Many, though, not gonna be able to escape. The mines will fall right there to one of them. 6-9, though, trying to get rid of Kind in the sky. Almost getting rid of one right there, but we will be finding Kind out. So now Fellowship Esports getting rid of that burst damage, but you just walk right back into a mine if you're Wolfie. And now low ground main trying to just take advantage of what they can. They will lose Zeta Teriyaki, but again, you're just gonna be traded out each way. Go Many finds their counterpart there in Zebra Cookie. As, I mean, low ground main just continues to casually push the spot forward. They're gonna probably have to fall back here for a moment though, because of those spawns.
Yeah, we did see the hack coming in. Yeah, now that Saucer's down, you're going to have to back up. You do bank the sound barrier, and at this point, Zebra Cookie has the EMP online. So you're going to have those tools. But basically, I think at this point, the EMP, you either have to capitalize on a pick, or you're just going to use it to try and force out as many ultimates as possible.
I mean, Fellowship Esports, this is the time where they can come back in this map. They have 4, almost 5 ultimates ready to go here. Only the EMP and the beat ready for the other side here at the moment. Go Many to get that hack there onto Zeta Teriyaki, but not going to be able to find the virus onto who they wanted to. Rambo, they're going to pop that beat there pretty early on, and hey, they find Kind out. High Quality gets hacked up. They should be taken out right here. EMP does land on the 3, though, from Zebra Cookie. Only going to be able to find the 1, but kind of a wasted ultimate right there by Go Many. I mean, by Zebra Cookie, my bad.
Yeah, and now we're going to see a swap coming in from Zebra Cookie going over to the Tracer now, no longer on the Sombra. And this is Fellowship Esports' chance to start building some good distance, because, I mean, all you're going to have if you're low ground main is that sound barrier. You got 4 ultimates at your disposal.
Right now, you just have to get something going here. You could get back into this map, really, with the ultimates you have, especially low ground main. They don't have anything really to go off of now. Yeah, you have a beat, but that's only going to be able to sustain you so long. But a pick like that, and there's the EMP. You need to be able to follow up off this. You find 2. These should be the 4 spawns coming out here for Fellowship Esports. At the cost of 1 ultimate, you will gladly take that. But you lose Go Many there. You lose Rambo. You were having momentum, but now you're starting to lose a little bit here, and you haven't got those forward spawns just yet.
Yeah, but you're going to be, with that pick on the Zebra Cookie, you should be able to cap this on the, but you have one person coming in to stall the point, and they're taking the bot back.
And Wolfie, without any supports right there, maybe played up a little bit too far, not able to get those forward spawns. 4.5 minutes left on the clock, but they're still holding on to 3 ultimates.
Yeah, and one wonders why you didn't commit another ult to ensure you get the cleanup to get that forward spawns. It's so important, because Just look at all of the. I mean, they don't even have to take the fight at the mid. It's going to be all the way here at the checkpoint for low ground.
Minefield coming out there from high quality. The hack, though, not going to get the pile drop, but they will still find Mr. Manhead out there. Overclock now out from 6ix9ine, looking for anyone they can. The bull into the minefield, not going to come right there, but still, you're not even going to allow 6ix9ine to really get any value off of that Overclock because you just push them back into a corner. Fellowship tries to take the bot back here a little bit. Gomeni going to be able to shut down high quality. Kind pops their own Overclock here, but getting pressured out. Going to be able to find Rambo now, focusing in on Wolfie. So also be able to clean up that pick right there. Low ground main, going to be able to get the...
Still 3.5 minutes left on the clock to try and turn this around if you're Fellowship Esports. Gomeni getting Zebra Cookies, a great first start, but they're going to need more. Okay. I think we lost Dex, so we're gonna keep this going as Fellowship Esports able to take the fight and re-control of the bot as now they hit the mid ground, taking away those forward spawns. However, high quality has found Gomeni in an opening pick once again. It's devastating for the side of Fellowship Esports as Zebra Cookies in the back are looking for the pulse bomb. Hasn't been able to pull it yet, doesn't need it yet. As we see the pause coming in with 2 minutes left on the clock, 60 meters separating these two teams. And again, it just feels like the devastation of not getting those forward spawns might be the difference in Fellowship Esports not being able to turn this around.
Yeah, and I mean, Fellowship Esports, they had an opportunity. They really did at the four when they had those 4 ultimates, and they were so close to getting those first forward spawns there. I mean, if they were able to win that team fight, get those forward spawns, we would be looking at a little bit of a different scenario at the moment, but it's now a very uphill battle as you're coming into the final 2 minutes of this map.
We're going to have to see what kind of turnaround work Fellowship Esports can do. They do have their Annihilation available to be able to use in this next fight. No sound barrier available for the side of low ground main either. So that could be, one ticket to try and get back in. But we're just going to have to see as we're still waiting on the readies from the teams after the pause.
Yeah, I mean, low ground main, you're winning the team fight out here at the moment. You're going to be able to take control of that bot yet again here. You're going to have a little bit of contest by the time you get back to the barrier here. But like we kind of mentioned, Fellowship Esports really don't have any ultimates coming up. They're close to an EMP, but other than that, I mean, there's just not enough there for a consistent fight after that. The EMP might be used to cancel out those mines when a high quality decides to pop them.
But I mean, it's all just going to be about, you're going to have to string together, to get the forward spawns, you have to string together 2 fights in a row in order to get those. And then after that, to match the next 60 meters, you're probably going to win another 2 fights after that. So you're looking at 4 fights in a row, which is going to be not the easiest for the side of Fellowship Esports.
Yeah, and that's been something we haven't really seen them do throughout this entire series here tonight. Win 4 fights in a row. We've seen them win 1, be close to 2, maybe win 2, but just not be able to get past that there. I mean, they have a large uphill battle to go. Still have over 2 minutes, so you still have time here, but I mean, you basically lost out this team fight. Kind find the final 2 kills of it. You're going to need to come back in very, very quickly. Like, you have to play very fast now, which I don't think is Fellowship Esports' kind of forte here. Whenever they kind of play a little bit faster than what they want, it seems like they're kind of struggling to we're back to the game.
Zebra Cookie on the prowl. Gomeni will have an EMP too. I didn't even realize that. So the EMP is going to be the really big engagement tool for them in this next fight.
Forward spawns reset here for low ground main, and honestly, that's going to be as far as they push it up. They don't need to go any further right there. Getting trapped in that vortex almost becomes the end of Kind. There's the minefields coming out there from high quality. 6ix9ine will be able to find Kind. Gomeni still holding on to that EMP here at the moment as 6ix9ine starting to pop off here. A moment where their team desperately needs it, but the bot is slowly going the opposite direction.
Oh no, the mines was able to separate and they're able to steal the bot away. So actually big play coming out from high quality because the forward spawns are unlocked for them and they're going to be able to get their team back at the mid fight. So, you know, despite being able to win that fight with no ults, Fellowship's now going to be taking another fight in basically the same area.
Fellowship, I mean, they're going to have 2 ultimates now. A nice hack there on a high quality pretty early on. Not going to be able to find anything off it there. However, won't be going to be able to find Zeta Teriyaki. 2 members of Fellowship looking a little bit worse for wear here at the moment. Gomeni might have to pop off with this EMP, but no, it's going to be Kind popping off with their own overclock. Already finding 2. Zebra Cookie going to be able to find Gomeni right there, and that is a fight that low ground main desperately needed there because Fellowship Esports, with that fight win, if they were able to win that fight, they would have had 4 really good ultimates coming up.
Yeah, maybe you do use a sound barrier in a situation where I don't think you needed it. So I think Fellowship Esports should be able to come back in and make a lot of things work. But again, they're going to have to use these ults very judiciously and find great value out of 1 to 2 ultimates max per fight in order to make these fights last and get this point back and win.
But you don't need ultimates when 6ix9ine has absolutely been popping off here in the last 2 minutes. Ever since that pause, they've been very, very consistent landing their shots here at the moment. But still, you still have to deal with the majority of low ground main here. You're going to lose Gomeni. That EMP was going to be something that really carried them through one of these first engagements. Pulse Bomb coming out, finding only 1. But Zebra Cookie is there for the cleanup. Another minefield coming out from high quality. Wolfie, last one left alive. Pop that annihilation, not even going to be able to there. The Boostio to end off the map, and low ground main will take their final game of the regular season in a 3-0 sweep.
You know, already locked in the number 2 seed, but nice warm up for the playoffs. Feeling pretty good, and they're able to show off a lot of versatility and flexibility in the competitions that they'll be able to play come playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, we saw everyone on this team here for low ground main just absolutely popping off no matter what hero they were really playing. It was a good series all around for them. Fellowship Esports, though, I mean, they got better as that map went on, a lot like it did here on our first map of the night. Just not able to find anything, though, in the end. Just low ground main, a little bit of a better mechanically team. It seemed like the communication was there for them all throughout the series. And like we said, low ground main already locked themselves into the 2 seed. Fellowship Esports, I think with this loss right here in a 3-0 sweep, locked themselves into that final seat in the playoffs. They'll be going up against sort of Skilled in week or in the first round of the bracket.
Which that is going to be quite the match. So we'll have to see it. Who knows? You guys on Shoes Production Crew might be facing this team exactly, low ground main.
Yeah, we might. We might, or we somehow win and move up in the bracket a little bit here. But I mean, low ground main is a very scary team. Like I said, probably the team that most of this tier expects to be the only competition for sort of Skilled, unless something is to happen. Which, I mean, we have a week break here. You never know if there's going to be a patch that comes out that really just changes the entire meta going over towards someone else's play style. But you see the score line here throughout the entire series. Low ground main, like we said, dominant throughout. And I mean, it's kind of the series they needed.
Yeah, they feeling pretty good. Gonna make this a nice, easy early night. Gonna go back and celebrate and enjoy and get ready for the playoffs as yeah, great series. And let's go ahead and take a look at the bans that we saw throughout the series for these teams as they went on. I think, you know, for the first 2 maps, low ground main was kind of just but that 3rd map, I think that Kiri was a little bit more serious of a ban. Fellowship Esports, they started out wanting to ban supports and then saw how good Zebra Cookie was on that cast and made a good, you know, decision there to get Zebra Cookie off of it. But Zebra Cookie then showed like, hey, Tracy Sombra in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, very flexible team, and especially in this tier, you need to be flexible. If you are basically a one-trick pony team here, I don't think you're necessarily going to go very far in this tier. I mean, Fellowship Esports, I think they played as good a series as they possibly could. Yeah, there's stuff that they could improve on, but they were going up against a very, very tough foe here tonight. But I mean, low ground main, like we said, already locked into the 2 seat. Mentioned that this was basically a warm up for them. Now they have the week off between this week and playoff series here, but we're going to throw it over to a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll have someone from Low Ground Maine for an interview. Everyone, stick around. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back everyone to the booth. We are pleased to be joined by High Quality and Saucer from Low Ground Maine. Hey guys, congratulations on the win here tonight. 7-1 in the regular season, locking yourself in to that number 2 spot in the playoffs. How does that feel to you guys?
Speaking for myself, feels pretty good. I think we always approach tourneys with the just the expectations that we're gonna, try our best and have fun, and we have been having fun, so feels pretty good. What about you, Quality?
Yeah, more or less the same going into most tourneys. I think that, like Saw said, we try our best to try to get up as high as we can in the seeding, so then presumably playoffs will be in a better position. I think we did what we could this tourney, and we're excited to go into playoffs now. So.
Sweet. I mean, we saw a lot of flexibility out of you guys today. Is that kind of what you guys wanted to show off and get ready, warmed up for playoffs? Because we know basically, everything in a vacuum, your guys' biggest competition is sort of skilled, and it feels like there's kind of been a tier gap after you guys and sort of skilled.
Yeah, no, we've really enjoyed the couple of times we've been able to play against them. They're a really, really good team. They have good fundamentals, and their players are, sort of skilled. Yeah. So, I think that's fair to say. I think I don't know if we've played all of the teams yet, but I think we've played most of them at this point. And
there's a handful we did not get to play in the regular season.
Okay. Yeah.
But we could maybe play them in the playoffs. We'll see. So, but no, I think being able to play just the wide variety of comps that we are doing, it's nice because, like you said, it keeps us fresh on a variety of different things, and also it makes it harder for teams to play or plan as to how they want to play against us. I know in the past we've had some teams that were able to do some bans that were like pretty targeted at what they have seen that we like to play. So the more we keep people on their feet, the less likely that is to happen. So keep them guessing, I guess.
Yeah, you guys definitely showed a lot of flexibility between a lot of different kinds of compositions. It was nice to see. Going into playoffs here in a couple weeks, I think we have an admin week in between. How are you guys feeling about your chances of winning it all and having a rematch and try and get revenge on Sort of Skilled?
I think there's definitely a chance. They're tough competition, but I think a lot of it probably comes down to meta. We haven't, I guess, the tourney's not long enough for us to say confidently if they're meta proof. But I would definitely say we are, if not 100% up there, close to 100 in terms of being meta proof. So, yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. Blizzard gets kind of crazy with some of these patches, so who knows?
Yeah.
From what I've seen thus far, there's been a handful of teams that I think that can hang up in that tier, but as you guys have said, I feel like as of now, I feel pretty confident going into playoffs that we will have the opportunity to run into Sword of Skilled again, but I guess we'll see.
Absolutely, but going back to that meta right there, and 2 weeks between your next game here now, what kind of patch, like if Blizzard was going to make one of those kind of funny patches, what would you guys really want to see to make it feel like this is your playoffs to lose, basically?
I think Quality wants to see Diva meta.
I do enjoy me some Diva, yes.
Yeah. Just more burst damage. I think what she needs is a lot more Matrix, a lot more burst damage, maybe some more mobility in the mix. I think maybe she should, catch an enemy in her Matrix and they just disintegrate.
Ooh, I like that.
I think that would be ideal.
Blizzard, give this man a job.
So you can eat the ult and the player.
Yeah,
Exactly,
you just consume them and convert their body into ult charge.
Reduced to atoms on the screen. All right, but guys, before we let you guys go for the night and celebrate this victory with your team, is there anyone or anything y'all want to shout out?
Yo, shout out my dermatologist. She's awesome. I'm glowing.
Can't confirm. Yeah, big ups to his dermatologist, I guess. I don't know. I mean, shout out my teammates, I guess. Good job. Shout out to Kind for playing Hearthstones whenever you probably shouldn't be. Thank you for walking off the map. Shout out to the Right Click Legend Zebra Cookie. And yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you guys so much, everyone. Again, that was High Quality and Saucer from Low Ground, Maine. Guys, congratulations on the victory here tonight and good luck in the playoffs.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, well, Ray, I mean, a dominant series here from Low Ground, Maine. Fellowship Esports, though, still in the playoffs here, locked in as that 8 seat. Will have to go up against Sort of Skilled, but I mean, there's some takeaways here from Fellowship Esports that they have here tonight. They just have to be able to improve a little bit over this week off coming up here. And I don't know if they have anything for Sort of Skilled, but they might be able to make a little bit of a lower bracket run.
It's funny because I forget that there's a picking show next week, so we don't even know if they're playing Sort of Skilled. I was just thinking about that during our break. I'm like, there's going to be a picking show. So we actually don't know who's playing who at all. So we're going to see how that will be interesting. So make sure to tune to that. I believe that'll be next Friday will be our picking show. So we'll get to see a lot of, good-hearted smack talk going back and forth between teams. It's always fun.
Yeah, it's always fun a lot. I've been a part of that show. I mean, it's very interesting to see what some of these teams have to say about each other, because sometimes you can tell it's playful banter, and sometimes you can tell, like, no, these teams actually straight up hate each other. But Ray, that will do it for us here tonight. But everyone, there's going to be a lot more CGL action to happen throughout this weekend. Tomorrow, I believe there's both an NA and an EU game, and throughout the weekend as well. So you're not going to want to miss any of the action. Follow us here on Twitch. Follow us on Twitter as well, and join our Discord so you guys know when all the streams go live. And before we sign off for the night, just want to give a quick shout out to the two people behind the scenes of Hippie and the Bakery for getting all the shots that you guys saw throughout the night. But that will do it for us here tonight at CGL. Thank you all so much for coming out, and we hope to see you again tomorrow.